Hello, it's good to still see you with us for more Explore Tulsa.
You know, Trish, I enjoy learning all about the history of the places that we go visit.
Oh, what did you learn about Wagoner when you were visiting the canebrake?
I learned that the town of Wagoner was named after a guy whose nickname was Bigfoot.
Aw, there's a little more to that story, and Wagoner historian Jerry Hickman shares it with us.
There was a man, a Katy Railroad dispatcher in Parsons, Kansas, by the name of Henry Bigfoot Wagoner, who never lived here, but he decided that there needed a station between a little way station at about 4 miles north of town called Lilietta and the other station down in Gibson Station, which is to the south of here. And so they put a station here about just a half a mile south of the present day city. And when it was ready, they dispatched and said Wagoner's switch is ready. And it eventually dropped the switch and just became Wagoner. This was originally a fashions museum. And when they dissolved that, the city inherited, and so they combined the fashion part with the city museum itself. Some of the old pictures of the town and just some of the memorabilia that's here and that people have loaned, such as myself, and just a lot of history. Paper items, plays, my collection of bottle caps from the old bottling plant that I found here back in the 90s. And it started out as the Wagoner Bottling Works in Indian Territory, and then later became the Purity Ice and Bottling Company. And the building is still standing back behind us. That was originally a taxi here back, I'm not real sure about the date, but it was originally a taxi. Eventually, it went to the Merle home over at Tahlequah, where John Ross lived, and it sat outside for years. But when they were doing some remodeling, they decided it didn't fit their decor, so they wanted to bring it back to the city. And at the time, I was president of the Historical Society, and I signed for it to come back to Wagoner. The lady behind the guitar guy that's sitting with the black dress, that represents Dr. Isabel Cobb, who was the first female doctor in Indian Territory. And she lived just to the southeast of town, just 2 or 3 miles. And she practiced out of her home. She was known as Dr. Bell. And there's still some Cobbs living here today. She got her degree in 1892 from Philadelphia Medical College. And I have a letter that was sent to her by Dr. Berry, who was one of the first doctors here in Wagoner. And she received it just a few days before she graduated, got her degree in medicine in 1892. And it's on SS Cobb drugstore stationery. Just some of them are just amazed at how old some of this stuff is, and of course they don't realize, a lot of stuff, and like the bottle caps, some of them probably don't even know what bottle caps are. Well, every town should know its history, and this is just a small way that the city has given back to us, to incorporate our history, which, we need to know our past. Without our past, what's the future going to be?